All right, everyone, so you're now ready to begin your basket. But before you can begin your basket, you're going to need to prep your materials. And the first thing you're going to need to do is to take the reed that was included in your kit, and you're going to need to soak it. Now, why are we soaking it? Well, the reason that we soak it is because when reed dries out, it gets a little bit brittle, meaning it's liable to snap and break. You'll find this out as you are cutting pieces because you're going to need 11, what we're going to call spokes, 10-inch spokes. So you'll want to get a measuring tape or something to measure out 10 inches. If you have a piece of notebook paper nearby, if you subtract about that much of your finger from it, that's also going to give you 10 inches. These are going to be what we call our spokes that are going to go down into our plywood pieces. And we want these to get bendy, and reintroducing reed to water makes them more malleable or easier to bend. And all the reed that we use, we want them to soak. And I recommend after you cut your 10 pieces, then take some of the longer coils and place those in your water too, because they are also going to have to submerge. So just take what you have and you will be able to get those soaking. The longer pieces are what we're going to use to actually weave the basket. And I usually start out by wetting at least 3 just to see how I'm going. The way your basket looks will depend on how tightly you make your weaves. I like to make a pretty tight weave. So I'm going to let this sit in my pan of water, or you can put it in your sink and just let it sit there. Let it sit for at least 20 minutes so that you can make certain you can move it easily when you begin to weave your basket. Now, your reeds have had time to soak and you begin to work on the craft. First, you'll want to make certain that you have your base. You see that there's already holes poked through. These are your spokes. So what you're going to begin to do is to put these through the little holes, and you want to allow about 2 inches to be on the edge. All right, so for your spokes, make sure you have that little bit of 2 inches here, and then put each spoke through. That will be your first step. Pretty simple. Well, it doesn't really take that long at all. And you should find that your reeds are feeling a little bit bendy in your hand. That's good. That's what we want. Now, I will add, for your base, you didn't have to wet it. You didn't want to wet it. In fact, it's better if you don't, because you don't want that to swell. If you did get it wet, pretty wet, it's all right. It's going to get a little wet as we put in our reeds. But if you did get it a little bit wet, all you have to do is just wipe it off. All right, and you see they're just kind of hanging out, hanging in there. All right, and then you'll have all of your pieces in. Now, once you have those pieces in, even those out just a little bit, making sure I'm even, I'm going to flip over to the underside, and you can see it here. So what you're going to want to do is to take your reeds and kind of loop it through. So you see how I've done this. Now we're going to take the next one and loop it through here. Just kind of crossing. This is helping the pieces stay in place. And you see it's making a nice little weave as we go around. Each weave helps to hold another piece down. It helps if you put your finger as you go along. You may find you need to move it forward a little bit, and if you do, that is absolutely fine. You may not have quite measured out 2 pieces, just under and over and under over, and then I'm going to slide this one that I have right here, over, and under, and over. And then you're nicely set up. There is the bottom of your basket. And so that will hold in place now. So you want to make sure your bottom's looking like that. Now, what you're going to do is a traditional weave. And what do I mean by a traditional weave? I mean you go in, and I'm going to take all the way because I want it to be towards the end. I want my end to go. And I'm going to go in and out of the reeds. So, in and out, just like this. So, the way you'll see here, this reed is over the top of it, under, over, under, over, under, over, under. Until we're to the beginning. Now see how it kind of looks like that, but I can now adjust that to where it is nicely going to fit flat. I just kind of press it down. And now I continue going on. Over, under, go. Oop. All right, now that your bottom is woven into place, you can start weaving. And what I like to do is I stick my end here, and I just put it right here. Now the trick is to go under and over. So if this one has the reed in the back, it's going to go over this one, which means I then need to wrap the next coil around. So if that one is behind, this one goes forward, and I just wrap it around. Okay. All right, it's going to look a little bendy as you go along. It doesn't have to look perfect immediately. Under, over, under, over. Go. Just keep it up. Okay. All right. So we have reached our first point. Now look, see? Now, where it had gone under on this piece, when we begin to start again, we go over it. So check your thing. Make sure that's staying even. You can press that down. So you'll see right here, under, over, under, over. Keep working on that, weaving it in and out. So your next question might be, okay, what do I do when I'm running out at the end of my piece of reed? Well, if you'll take a look, you just tuck it in. Tuck it in and bend your reed down. It's going to hold in place. See, what's going to happen is eventually these reeds will dry out again, and when they dry out again, they strengthen and harden, and it's going to hold it. But what you do want to do is remember where that last little piece was. And so you will then take another piece of your reed, and you will simply start the new piece right where the old piece ended. Weave it in, as you can see here. And I like to take it again and tuck it back inside. It gives it just a little bit of extra hold. And then like I did here, I bend it up And then I just continue on my merry way of weaving. Still keeping the back and forth pattern. And see, it's like I didn't even stop using the same piece of reed. Now another step you can take, if you would like to do so, is to put beads as a decoration point. Sometimes baskets have nice little touches. You can take your beads and put them on each of your individual spokes for a little bit of decoration. And then all you have to do is find where you left off with the last one, and then you can just begin weaving in again over the top of it to continue your design. Just like so. So, here we go. My last one went under. My next one goes over, under, and now I've incorporated the beads into the design. And just keep going as you were. When you get about 2 inches from the top, make certain that you stop because we're going to have to close up the basket. Now that I am at the top, I'm ready to begin the part where I weave in my top. So you see there's my little decorations. I've continued my bottom there. Now we kind of got to do what we did down here up to the top. So pick one of your spokes. And here's what you begin to do. You begin to go in and out of the top reeds. Now to hold that into place, I then take the next one and wrap it through as well. Same here. The process is that you are using each layer continue the weave, to continue going around, and holding your design in place. So every piece of the reed supports another reed and helps hold it into place. Just in and out, continue to do that. Continue to let the spokes help you as you go along. And sometimes they'll want to spring up a little bit, and usually that's because your reeds are starting to dry out. If it starts to do that too bad, you can wet it again to help give it a little bit more malleability again. But you basically just keep crossing one reed over the other. Now the very last piece is just a little bit tricky. You're going to have it go through the top reeds and twist right in and out, and in and out. Each one just going in, tucking in. Can tuck in all your extra pieces. Make sure nothing's sticking up or out. Remember, as it dries, it's going to hold into place. Go. Like I said, you may want to wet it again. Just making sure that you're tucking as you go. Weaving it in to where it holds. And if you have a few little stray ones that just aren't tucking too well, you can go and just adjust those. And in the end, you have your lovely little basket using traditional Appalachian techniques. This makes a particularly good pencil holder if you'd like to use that. It can hold your craft supplies or any other little thing that you would like to use. We'd love to see what you created, have you show off your craft skills. So remember that you can tag us on your social media with hashtag AITG Nancy Hanks. You can also email me at natalie.sweet@lmunet.edu, and we will share your great creations. We can't wait to see what you do.